So let's see what we have here. The card that really struck out, or well, really stood out to me, or really struck me, was when it first came out here. I have the High Priestess and the Hermit. The High Priestess is about this sense of inner knowing, okay? This sense of like our intuition is working overtime, telling us about a situation, to tell us like somebody is the right one, or to warn us about a situation. It can go both ways. And I have the Hermit, and the Hermit is a card about spirituality. It's about your spirit guides working behind the scenes to show you something, okay, to kind of guide you in a specific direction. And with them both looking at each other, I almost feel like you're being shown a situation and you know which way that you're supposed to go. I feel like for many of you, there's a situation here in your life that is creating this. Nine of Swords, okay? The Nine of Swords deals heavily with mental energy that keeps like replaying in our mind, in our head, and we're not really sure how to break out of this feedback loop, okay? So we're feeling like if I do this, the other thing's going to happen. And I also feel for many of you, there might be some situation here on top of the Hierophant, and the Hierophant deals with institution. It deals with expectations, and it deals more with like especially family expectation. Family wants us to do one thing when our heart and our mind wants us to do another. And I also feel like this is the month where you kind of have to drown out other people's energies, other people's expectations, drown out the noise, and just really focus on what you need to do. For many of you, I feel like you might be on the older age spectrum. You might have gotten out of, like I said, I feel like I'm getting an energy of a group of people that have been single for a really long time, and you're getting out dating. You're getting out into the dating world, and you're almost like trying to find that more practical relationship, the more practical relationship partner. You're looking for companionship. You're looking for somebody that, you might not like want to get married, might not want to, go through the whole spiel again with the family planning, joining up your finances, joining up your assets. You might have recently gotten divorced. You might have been separated, and you're getting into the world trying to date again. And what you're really after is a lot of compatibility. You're not trying to go wild. You're not trying to find somebody who wants to, hit the club every weekend. You're not trying to find somebody who's still trying to find their way in the world. You want somebody who's already where you're at, who's like meeting you where you're at. Somebody who, have hobbies. They have a lot of things that you both can talk about. They have common interests. You're trying to find that relationship that is a lot more compatible. So in the back of your mind, it's almost like I'm looking for companionship. I'm looking for compatibility. But there is another on the flip side of that, which is the Ace of Rods. This is passion, chemistry. This is like a budding new romance that many of you have found yourself in, okay? And so on the one hand, we're looking for a safe choice, and there might be a safe choice that's coming in, somebody that is already on your same page. They've been there, they've done that, and you feel like this could be, like the perfect life partner moving forward. You might not need to, get into the whole marriage, children, settling down, joining up your bank account. This could be somebody who's sufficient on their own. You're sufficient on your own. You both need a lot of quiet time, and you both need a lot of space, and you feel this is a safe choice, but there's another choice that's really beckoning you. And it denotes to me great passion, great chemistry coming through between you and another person that you might have been trying to downplay, or you might have felt like it was a missed opportunity. It's linked up here with the Five of Cups, which indicates to me that for many of you, you feel like this person might not be a safe enough choice for you. They're very passionate. They're very, they're very social, And so you might not feel like they've gotten the partying, the wild phase or the wild streak out of their system just yet. You might feel like they still have a lot of grown up to do. There might be an age difference. And so you're feeling like you have to forego this relationship because they haven't really figured things out yet. But you're really passionate about this person. This person stirs you in a way that no one else has stirred you in the past. And because of that, I feel like you're feeling slightly off kilter, or you're feeling like this might not be the safe bet, or this might not be a safe choice. So I feel like, once again, there's this trepidation about asking somebody out on a date, or wanting to get involved with another person, or wanting to talk to a person, but feeling like they have a lot of suitors, or feeling like the environment is disallowing a closer connection, is disallowing one-on-one interaction. I'm seeing a lot of interference getting in the way, okay? But I'm also feeling for many of you, there's definitely choosing between two options, okay? We have here the Two of Pentacles, weighing out the pros and cons, weighing out a situation, weighing out to see what your heart really wants. And I feel like for many of you, there's a connection here with a person that is a little bit on or off, that is not as stable as you'd like, it's really, really passionate, but I feel like in a way, it scares you. It's bringing something so new into your life that you're trepidatious as to how to move forward. For some of you, this could be an earth sign, a Taurus, a Virgo, or a Capricorn. I feel a connection here between possibly a water sign, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, and an earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Somebody's very sentimental. The other one is very practical. Somebody who's really like, easy to talk to. The other person is somebody who gets things done. So I feel like you're straddling the fence or torn between and trying to choose between two people. I did the Gemini reading, by the way, and it did mention straddling the fence, being indecisive and not going for something. And I feel like this might be an energy that's playing out for air signs, because it's also in your reading, choosing between two options. And I feel like you might be looking at the more practical aspect of a relationship. Like you're realizing that compatibility, innate compatibility goes a lot further. And I feel like you're opting for the more safer, the path of least resistance, okay? And you could potentially forego something that is really exciting, that is really going to break you out of your shell. But I feel like, you're definitely taking the safer route. And I'm sensing as well, the safer route might not yield what you're looking for. So I feel like whatever decision that you're making right now, you want to think about it a little bit longer, and you want to really be honest with yourself. Why am I denying this passionate side that this person is stirring up within me? Why am I foregoing that? Why does that scare me? Because I feel like the reason why you're looking at this person as if, are they going to stay around? I feel like there's an element here about age difference between you and a significant other, or you and somebody that you're interested in. And you might be judging them based on their age rather than based on their life experience. So I feel like it's time to dig a little bit deeper and look at things beneath the surface. Rather than just looking at things at face value, you have to do a little bit more sleuthing. You have to do a little bit more observing, and you have to do a little bit more you have to understand as well where somebody is coming from, getting to the root of a situation. Okay, the Hierophant deals with tradition. It's like long-standing tradition. It's it's a situation that is like all the parts make up the whole. And so you kind of have to look at somebody's upbringing in order to understand why they are the way that they are. I feel like somebody that you're looking at might come across as a rebel when deep down they are as conservative or as orthodox as you can get. But I feel like there is a veneer here that shows you something that you feel is not safe, but unearthing that, looking at things deep underneath, is going to allow you to see this person in a more realistic or in a true light. Okay, so things coming to light. There's heavy energy here about coming into a recognition or into an understanding of something that you hadn't before, with the High Priestess and the Hermit card. This is like the meeting of the mind. This is indicative to me of two people who are a really good match because they are old souls. And it could be old souls reuniting in this lifetime, or people that have gone through many, many, many incarnations. They've had many, many past lives. And so even though they're reborn in this lifetime as a baby, they still have that knowledge from all their past existence to be able to look at life in a very old lens. Okay, so you are dealing with someone who is very, very independent. Both of these cards indicate people who are very self-possessed. They don't need validation from their external environment. They know what they want to do. They move forward. They're not craving relationships. Like they don't need to have another person by their side. So they're okay with being on their own. They're self-sufficient financially and emotionally. They're not needy. They're not clingy. They're both independent, and they're very much like, go with the flow. If it's meant for me, it will come into the picture for me. If it's not meant for me, no matter how much or how tightly I cling onto it, it's going to slip my fingers. So I feel like it's going to slip through my fingers, excuse me. So I feel like you're dealing with somebody who is definitely in alignment with you, but on the surface, and this is really important, why we need to dig a little bit deeper this month and not take things at face value. On the surface, they might seem childlike, younger, more attention grabbing, more needy in your eyes. But I feel like deep down, they are indeed a very, very old soul. They've dealt with their fair share of disappointments in life. And so they take life, take come what may. And so they have a, devil may care. They even have like a very transient attitude as to the way they do things. They might approach a situation almost like, I'm seeing this woman holding the flower, and it's almost like nothing lasts forever. So let's just seize the day. Okay, it's almost like a wilting flower. Nothing lasts forever. Let's seize the day. And I'm not going to stubbornly cling on to a situation if the other person doesn't want to be with me. So you're dealing with someone who is a very, very old soul. They have a lot of self-awareness. At face value, it might seem like they don't, but I feel like deep down, there's this magnetic pull constantly converging. Like it's almost like everything conspiring to bring the two of you together. And for whatever reason, Libras, I feel like you've been fighting it, okay? I'm also seeing as well a family situation. Could be divorce, could be marriage, could be family expectations, all of those things. It's like a whole ball of yarn. It's complicated. It's complex. It's all wrapped up together. I'm seeing situations where there might be like estate planning. So somebody might have passed on, and there's like a lot of things coming up in wills, okay? The High Priestess, usually, she holds a scroll, and I always think of that as like assets, estate planning, wills and testaments, and things that needs to be sorted out. After a demise of a situation. It could also indicate like legality, legal issues, as well as like trying to divvy up assets, okay, especially property, like housing. So I feel like all of those things getting involved in the picture. And then I also feel for those of you who have children, grandchildren, children, you're trying to leave a lasting legacy. You're trying to figure out, and you're trying to decide, if I leave the home to the child, or the grandkids, or to whoever it is, I have this really beautiful home. If I leave it to this child, will he or she take care of it? Or will they just sell it, take the money, and, leave and squander the money? So I feel like you're seriously looking at somebody's character to decide what to bequeath them. That's what it seems like. Because you don't want them to make the wrong choice, and because you have sentimental ties to the things that you're giving away, and you hope that they would make the best decision, or the they would do right by you, but you're not really sure. So you're still at the stage where you're kind of like trepidatious, okay? I'm also feeling as well for many of you on the other end of the spectrum. I feel like there's a lot of information coming through, like in a it's like spiritual messages coming into the picture. We have, let's see, five major arcana cards that are in the picture: the Hermit, the High Priestess, all indicative of, you know, spirituality. We have the Temperance card telling you to be patient. We have the Wheel of Fortune, which means the wheel of fate is turning so that a situation can come together. And I feel for many of you, there might be a new job in the making. If you have been, you know, financially in the red, or if you have been like piecing together odd jobs in order to make ends meet, there is a big job coming into the picture. We have the Page of Pentacles. This is the apprentice. This is still something fairly new that you have to learn, that you have to be trained for, that you have to, you know, kind of like build up towards. But it's the beginning of something that you can build upon. Whereas if you're in this situation where you're piecing together odd jobs here and there to make ends meet, this is not a good place for you to be. So they're kind of telling you, you have something brand new that is really going to change your life. And it's something that like would be more in alignment with your passion, your skills, and your capabilities. But it might not start out with everything that you're hoping for. So I feel like you definitely should try to take this and run with it, because it has a lot more growth potential, and there's a lot more that can be, at the end of the day, it's like, this is the thing that can grow. Okay. So even though it starts out like in a position where you're looking at it, you're like, I'm making more here with both of these jobs, but these jobs might be part-time jobs. There's no pension. There's no health insurance. There's no stability. You might be let go, you know, when things get rough within that company or that organization. The work itself seems to be flexible, so it gives you that freedom of movement. But at the same time, you have to be at a point where you care a little bit more about your financial future. And so take on this. It's going to give you a lot more stability. So I feel like there's a choice that you're weighing out regarding your finances and regarding the work that you're willing to do or work that you're not willing to do, mainly because you're assessing whether or not it pays you well enough. Okay. As I was talking about the job, my phone kept flickering. The lights kept flickering. So I feel like for many of you, really think about this decision.